Is taking probiotics for your IBS a waste of money? Like, can it actually resolve your issue properly? Or is it more of a band-aid fix that doesn't actually get to the root? So I'm going to explore this a little bit in this video. Before I jump in, my name is Joe. I'm a gut health dietitian. We've helped just about 1,000 clients online now with their digestive issues. If you've thought about taking probiotics for your specific issue, or you already do, and you're kind of not sure like what the protocol is there and how much it's helping, then please make sure you watch the rest of this video. I've also got a guide, probiotics for IBS, and sort of the most proven types, going into specifics, not only the brand, but for what symptoms. So if you want to grab that, stick around to the end of the video and I'll tell you how to do that. So generally speaking, there is evidence that taking probiotics for IBS can improve quality of life and lower like symptom severity compared to a placebo, so like a pretend probiotic pill, for example. There's a lot of studies like this. For an 8 to 10 week period, they've seen that. Now this is important because what happens after 8 to 10 weeks? We don't have a lot of long-term reliable evidence. And this is something that a lot of our clients actually will experience. They'll take a probiotic, and it goes for other things as well, but we'll stick with probiotics here. They'll take that and they'll notice an improvement initially, but then over time, they start to question, hey, is this still working? Or it's very clear that it's not working the way that it used to, and what next? So I wonder, has that happened to you before? So the first problem is then that we don't know if it lasts long, and anecdotally it doesn't, and there's no research to support the idea that it does. So you've got a problem with how long it lasts. And then the second issue is the type of strain. So probiotics are like bacteria that are thought to be good bacteria. There are so many different like strains or species of these, and they affect you differently depending on your condition, depending on you, your microbiome, so the environment of bacteria you already have, and then also the symptom that you're trying to address, because diarrhea versus constipation are oftentimes very different, oftentimes overlap, and oftentimes very different. So there's all these factors that come into play where it's like, hey, I just grabbed that probiotic off the shelf, and it just says it helps with gut symptoms. It's like, it's so vague, and we need to actually get much more intentional and specific when we're talking about this topic. So to build on that, we have like what's called traveler's diarrhea, and we know there's a certain strain that does help with that. And traveler's diarrhea is usually acute or a short-term issue, and so it's like I took the probiotic and it resolved that issue. But if we're talking about not traveler's diarrhea, if we're talking about mixed IBS on top of a bowel disease that you have, well, now what strain do we take, and for how long is that actually going to help me? These are things we need to consider. In fact, the evidence for a lot of IBD, like Crohn's and colitis, there's not a lot on it. They are studying more varieties and things, but it's the fact that like someone has to fund the studies as well. So a big company that owns a probiotic can fund it, and they can do it unbiased, by the way. Like, it can be legitimate results and reliable. But of course, they're not likely to publish results that don't work favorably for the product that they're producing. So that's why the whole area is a little bit, there's a lot of mixed messages, and can you really trust everything? And the reality is that the majority of probiotics on the market are just absolute junk. Typically really good ones are, it's not always, but are, for example, refrigerated, whereas you can buy all sorts of different quality of probiotics from different countries as well. So there's all these factors that come into play. For me, they're not a long-term play. They're not the long-term solution? Are you going to take a probiotic and then it not only removes your symptoms, but it resolves the sensitivity or the issue or the disease that you had, and then you just stop taking it and live happily ever after? Like, is that how you're envisioning it? Or are you just kind of taking it because it's, you know, the easy thing to do, where you don't actually have to apply yourself, change your diet, look at your lifestyle, anything like that? It's like, I can do everything the same. I just take a tablet and then I feel like I'm doing my best. How long are you going to take a probiotic for? Okay, let's say that, like, some of them, like the good ones, the proven ones, you know, you're looking at $100 a month. So if you're going to take that, you know, they don't promise to, they don't work when you don't take them. They're working when you take them, especially in the beginning. So $100 a month, it's $1,200 a year. If you're going to take that for 10 years, like, that's $12,000. I guess you don't want the symptoms to come back, so you're going to take them for 20 years plus. So you're looking at $24,000 for something that, like, doesn't actually fix the issue. It just kind of, it helps, and it only helps in the beginning in the majority of cases. You can see it starts to fall apart when you actually think critically, like, well, why am I taking this, and where does this actually go? They are really a band-aid, like a medication. You know, if I've got a cut, I can just put a band-aid on it and forget about it. But the reality is, if we don't clean it, it gets infected. It just kind of masks the problem, and actually when we remove the band-aid, things are worse than when they started. So no doubt probiotics can be part of an approach. They're like one tool in the toolbox. They're you know, a small tool in the toolbox, but you need to be thinking about addressing your issues, resolving the symptoms, pinpointing triggers, and doing this in a sustainable way, where you're learning the skills and the information, and you're empowered to make decisions going forward yourself, so you can actually learn what to eat and what not and why. And then that's how you'll actually get freedom with eating again, and not be afraid of foods. And that's the problem with probiotics. They're not allowing a lot of people to do that. They do have their place. Like I said, they are a tool, and particularly useful in the beginning. In like, you know, because I understand a lot of clients are really in a lot of pain or having really severe symptoms. And so they can be useful as part of our process in the beginning. But you want to be thinking bigger than that. So if you found this useful, make sure you give the video a like or a heart or whatever it is, and leave a comment if you've got questions. The guide. So I have a roundup of, like, the actual best proven probiotics for certain different symptoms related to IBS, and even a couple of IBD scenarios. So if you want that, just comment probiotic in the comments, and I can shoot you the link to access that guide for free. And last thing, if you want to get individualized help with your issues from a dietitian, that's what we do, right? We do it online. So you can have the full service. We can help you even better than seeing someone in person, because we're available at all different times, and we can help you even outside of a regular consult. You know, always contactable to help you navigate any unforeseen challenges and things like that. So if you are interested in that, make sure you send me a message. We can have a conversation, learn more about you, and see how we can help.